So, welcome for another session. For today's discussion, we're going to talk about sound business model and a new IT and IS implementation. So, in today's global network economy, new business models are emerging that are radically changing how companies create or destroy value within an industry and across industry boundaries. So, in fact, even here in Kenya, we saw some technologies where companies implemented that have dramatically created or destroyed value within their industry, say in the telco industry, and even across industry boundaries. It has expanded even to the banking sector. All right, we talk about M-Pesa. New technologies provide opportunities to radically change business and industry economics. So, if in the past, according to business and industry economics, to be able to do a transaction, it would require, say, 100 shillings. But today, it can even be 10 shillings. Okay. Um, the need to frame strategy and its execution within the framework of a business model has become an increasingly important management tool. Executives and entrepreneurs are searching for opportunities to create and exploit game changing innovations. Now, let's talk about IT and IS plus sound business model. In fact, in 2003, as we have previously discussed, okay, Apple introduced the iPod with the iTunes Store, and they have revolutionized portable entertainment, creating a new market and transforming the company. All right. So Apple was not the first to bring digital music players to the market. In fact, before Apple, before iPod, there was the Rio and the Cabo. And the question that we ask ourselves is why iPod and not the two, you know, uh, new entrants or first entrants, first players? Why iPod succeeded and not Rio and Cabo? What Apple did was they took a very good technology and then they wrap it in a great business model. Apple's true innovation was to make downloading digital music easy and convenient. In fact, the company built a groundbreaking business model that they combined hardware, software, and service. All right. Another company is, of course, Boeing, the aircraft manufacturer. Okay, commercial aircraft. In 2003, Airbus delivered more planes than Boeing, and they have more planes in their backlog. In fact, Airbus 380 was targeting to become the king of the skies, replacing Boeing 747, who is the that is the queen of the skies. So the industry expected, Boeing to respond to this new developments. Okay, when Airbus has overtaken them to be the leader in the industry. So this was Boeing Plant in 2003. All right. So if you can see, it is. I think it's very chaotic. There are so many things that are going on in the company, and the company indeed transformed. All right. So this is now Boeing Plant 2008, where everything moves. Okay, completely transformed, completely different from before 2003. So let's define what is a business model. So a business model is defined uh, as how an organization interacts with its environment. So environments as our customers, our suppliers, our regulators, our partners. Okay, and define a very unique strategy. Okay, unique strategy. I think The way to be strategic today is to be scarce, to be different, okay? And then attract the resources and build capabilities required to execute the strategy and create value for all stakeholders. Business model also forms the foundation for how executives make decisions about opportunities to pursue, businesses to launch or buy, activities to perform, talent to hire, or maybe technologies to implement, all right? And how to organize to deliver value to stakeholders. These are all part of your business model. Now, there are four elements of a business model. The first element, of course, is the customer value proposition. All right. This is one way of saying, what are we offering to our customers so that now they will come to us and then buy our products or avail of our services, give us their money, and why not to our customers? Why not to our competitors, rather? Okay. So that's our customer value proposition. This is just an example of a value proposition of Boeing 787, the Dreamliner. Okay, so it has advanced wing design, breakthrough passenger cabin, overhead crew rest, enhanced flight deck, advanced engines and nacelles, large cargo capacity, composite primary structure, and of course, innovative systems technologies. Number two element of a business model, of course, the profit formula. And in the profit formula, it includes revenue model, cost structure, margin model, and resource velocity. So for a sound business model, not only that we have a very good customer value proposition, we must have also a very good profit formula. So revenue model, for example, where our revenues will be coming, okay, and our cost structure and our margin model and resource velocity. The third element, of course, are key resources. Okay, so part of a sound business model is we must have the right people and we have the technology. That's why we're discussing IT and IS in relation to business model. And then equipments, machineries, facilities, all of this are key resources. So in doing a business model audit, okay, so we need to ask ourselves these questions, okay? Or we need to evaluate whether we have the expertise needed to perform these processes, okay? So how easy or difficult is it, or will it be to attract, develop, motivate, and retain the expertise needed to carry out specific activities and coordinate and control our operations. Does our company have the reputation and image required to attract and retain top talent? And does our culture and incentives enable us to engage and inspire our own people? If they are not engaged and they are not inspired, we might lose our best people in the company. And the last element, of course, of a business model is, of course, key processes, both operational and managerial, right? So in terms of processes and infrastructure, we ask ourselves these questions. Do our processes enable end-to-end coordination and control of operations? Do people and partners at all levels have the information needed to coordinate and control processes and infrastructure? In fact, we always say that, even before we blame people, we have to check first the processes. Every time we have a problem, 80% most of the time, we look at the processes and maybe it is the process that is problematic and not the people. Are we best in class in terms of speed, quality, cost, and productivity? So these are just some of the questions that we need to ask ourselves. In fact, with regards to mapping of processes, Charles Kirimi and myself in 2009, we did the research with regards to best practices for SAP implementation in Kenya. And in our study, we were able to establish that top management support, effective project management, business process reengineering, data conversion, and phase project implementation approach are critical to success in SAP project implementation in Kenya. All right, so these are just some of the companies that are really benefiting from IT implementations when they are coupled with enabled processes. Okay, so CVS, Cisco, and Otis Elevator are among the many companies gaining a market edge by competing on technology enabled processes, whereby they have carefully examined their working methods, revamping them in interesting ways, and using readily available enterprise software available out there and networking technologies. In fact, Otis Elevator, what they did, well, they started with a clean sheet of paper, they map all the processes, including sub-processes, and then deploy e-logistics and the technologies behind it. Ari Busby, who is the CEO of Otis Elevator at that time, he said, had we done the opposite, use information technology and systems with broken or inefficient processes, it could have been a very costly mistake. Now, it's a very loaded statement, okay? Now, let's try to validate that one. So in 2009, again, Sharon Omonde and myself, we did another research and we studied Kenya pipeline. Okay. And it was revealed in our research that only 25% of the business process mapping was done and largely ignored as they were under pressure to complete the project within the agreed project plan. However, in their attempt to beat the deadline, the project had an over expenditure of 53 million and then 11 months overview. So let's go back to the statement of Ari Busby. Had we done the opposite, use information technology with broken or inefficient processes, it could have been a very costly mistake. Indeed, it was proven, it was supported by this research that we did with Sharon Mondi in 2009. So let's see now the Apple results. So in just 3 years, the iPod iTunes combination became nearly 10 billion product, accounting to almost 50% of their revenue. In fact, Apple market capitalization has catapulted from around 1 billion in 2003 to 150 billion by late 2007. I checked last year, the market capitalization of Apple is about 880 billion, okay, in 2019. And here comes now Boeing, by the way. So 1,441 total orders in 2019. So Boeing has so far received this number of orders for its Dreamliner 787, the latest chapter in the rivalry between Boeing and Europe's Airbus to dominate the commercial jet market once again. Otis Elevator, as you can see in the UTC share performance. Okay, so what can we conclude based on this discussion in terms of information economy benefits? If we implement a new technology, new IT and new IS, and yet we have an old organization. Means to say, we did not revamp, we did not revisit or upgrade or update our business model. Yes, the result will be okay, but we will be disappointed with regards to the results. So imagine if you have a new information system, a new technology, and we have a sound business model. Means to say, we have a very sound customer value proposition, our profit formula, and we have the right resources, and we have, efficient processes. The result would be 10 times. Okay, we are 10 times more efficient, more effective, we are more responsive, we are more profitable, we are more, you know, uh, forward looking, and so on and so forth. All right, so that's the end result if we have a sound business model and we have a new technology, a new information system implementation. So what we are saying here is we have to implement information system in the light of the business model. All right, so this is a research that I would like to recommend that any of you would like to do in your research. Okay, suppose we are going to study old organization plus new technology implementation wherein they have okay but frustrating and disappointing results. Now, how do we bring them to this level wherein 10 times the results? Okay, so what else do we need to do? Okay, how much more? Okay, how are we going to do it, and how much more are we going to spend or to invest? All right, and then what organizational, management, and technical issues do we need to resolve for this particular organization to bring them to this level? All right, so this research would be very beneficial. It will really add value for any organization that has implemented new technology, say a new information system, and yet they didn't get the results that they are hoping to achieve. All right, so that's the end of our presentation for today. I hope you have learned again something today. If you have any question, leave a comment down below.